Welcome back to the City Street Finance Report training videos.
Next, we're going to look at how to fill out the Projects tab. What is a project? A project is only construction, reconstruction, or improvement projects that are over 90% of the horizontal infrastructure bid threshold and that were completed and approved by the City Council in the report year. Maintenance projects do not need to be reported on this form. First, let's consider the definition of those terms. Construction means building or developing a new road, street, bridge, or culvert in a location where it previously didn't exist, or in a location that deviates substantially from the existing alignment of the original road. Reconstruction means a significant change to the existing type of road, street, or bridge. Improvement means the betterment of a road, street, bridge, or culvert. This work increases the value and enhances its capacity or its safety. This work would not be so extensive as to be classified as construction or reconstruction, but it could be rehabilitation or restoration or even resurfacing of the road itself. Once a project that you have completed in your city has qualified under those definitions, you need to consider its cost. If you are a city with a population of 50,000 or less, then the 2020 bid threshold was $50,000. 90% of that is $45,000. If your project was a construction, reconstruction, or improvement project that cost over $45,000 and was completed during the fiscal year FY20, then it needs to be entered on this report. If you're a city with a population over 50,000, the qualifying threshold is $64,800. That is 90% of the $72,000 bid threshold. Please be sure that projects are only reported one time. If a project is still in process and has not been completed or has not been approved and had retainage paid by the City Council to the contractor, then the project is not complete. Please wait until the fiscal year where the project is complete to enter it on this report. Let's enter one on this report format. To do that, you would click Add a New Row. When you select Add a New Row, a new street project box opens up. First, you will enter your project number. That project number may be something that is assigned by the city, or it may also be the official project number from the bid letting. Next, enter your estimated cost. This is typically a cost of the improvement that's been estimated by an engineer. Enter the project type. Again, the projects that have to be reported on this form are only construction, reconstruction, or improvement. If your project is only a maintenance project and you select to enter it on this project form, please make sure you list it as maintenance. Answer the question as to whether there was a bid letting for this project or not, yes or no, and enter a description of your project. Again, just like under the Equipment tab, good descriptions have more detail. Next, you need to know a little bit about your project. Was the project contracted out, or was it completed with city labor, or potentially a combination of both? If the project was let out to a contractor, enter the contractor's name and the contract price. If there were additions or deductions along the way to that contract price, please add the net of those additions and deductions and put the net of that total in the addition or deduction box. Make sure that you click either addition or deduction so that the form knows whether to add or subtract that total. If the city did not have any labor expense or equipment or material cost, then go ahead and enter zeros on the city lines. If it was a city project, then your only entries will be down here. Under contractor, you would enter city. For the contract price, it would be 0. You would have a 0 for addition or deduction. And again, you'll need to choose a radial button. And then you can enter the city labor expense. The labor expense includes wages and benefits of any worker who was involved in this project. On the local systems homepage, there is a link to the equipment dollars that is a rating system for each piece of equipment. So if you used a dump truck for 8 hours, you would look up the dump truck on the rating list, find its amount, and multiply its amount per hour times the number of hours used. Add up all of those dollars and enter them on this project form. The next line covers the material cost for any materials that the city purchased for the completion of this project. And the final box is for city overhead cost. If the city has an established overhead rate, you may use that. Otherwise, take 10% of the salary expense part of the city labor and use that as your overhead cost for this form. When you have finished, click Save, and the project will be added to your project list. As you can see, we have several projects already entered into our list. If we need to go through and make changes, we can click Edit. When the form opens, you can see all of the items that we've already entered: the project form, estimated cost, type, letting, description, contractor, contract price, additions through change orders, and in this particular project, there was no associated city expense. We can make whatever changes we need to during edit, click Save, and it will close our window, and we will be back to the list. To look at an alternate project, this is a project that was completed by the city. This is listed as project number 2 for the year. It has an estimated cost. It was an improvement. It did have a letting, but that letting did not yield a satisfactory result, so the city decided to use city labor to complete this project. It was the addition of a turning lane. The contractor, again, was the city itself, so it did not have a contract price. We do not have any addition or deductions. And the city's labor expense, equipment expense, calculated by figuring out the number of hours times the rate for each piece of equipment, the materials that the city purchased, and 10% of the wages that were listed under the labor expense. If we needed to make changes, we could edit it on this page as well, and then click Save, and it'll go back to our list. When they're in the list, if you realize that you have listed a project that was not completed and approved during this fiscal year, you may go ahead and select Delete, which will take that project right back off your list. You may enter as many projects as the city had during that year, and if you have a lot and need to search them, you can use the search feature. Again, these projects need to have been completed and approved during the fiscal reporting year to be entered onto this sheet.